Okay, I had a quick break and I'm ready to go again. So of course this is the debriefing for Act 5, and I actually quite like the debriefing in this one. You got a nice change of scenery as well, because of course all of the debriefings for the other acts took place on the Nomads, but this one takes place in Mei Ling's ship. So you got a nice change of scenery, and what they talk about I find interesting as well, because of course this is the final act, so shit is getting real at this point. So everything they are saying is actually quite important. Because, you know, the whole entire game is leading up to this, so, you know. I need to stop saying that. I don't think I've been saying it much this playthrough though, so... Nope, I haven't been doing too bad, I don't think.
Liquid's target is JD, a US military satellite disguised...
Using the Mark II, you can... I believe...
Haven will have to surface in order to use the railgun.
If we can figure out JD's orbit...
There.
We should be able to predict where Haven's gonna surface.
JD is in a synchronous elliptical orbit, so its next perigee should be...
I was talking there, but I just wanted to watch Mei Ling.
Got it! 15 hours, 6 minutes, and 12 seconds.
Right. In 15 hours, it's going to be over the Bering Sea, 494 nautical miles from the Bering Strait. Haven knows it too. They'll be holding position in that area.
Do they really have to get that close to launch?
The nukes fired by Rex's railgun have a damage...
what was I talking about? I kind of got distracted there. Oh, right. Yeah, you can move that around using the Mark II.
Traveling at 10 kilometers per second. To get the precision they need, they have...
I kind of got sidetracked there because I do like how Mei Ling is finicking around with the pointer, whatever it is. And there's some wacky antics between her and Johnny coming up in this scene as well.
Will we make it?
I was kind of being quiet there because I got cut off. I wanted to watch all the stuff going on. And Snake's in pretty bad shape by this point.
Operations are complete. This ship was stripped of most of its equipment, and she's got no electronic warfare.
When I first played the game, at this point, this was the point where I was really starting to think, Snake really doesn't have much time left, does he? This was where I was starting to really consider him, you know, the possibility of what could happen to him at the end of this game.
Cover to launch the nuke. That's our one and only chance to get inside.
Inside? Why can't we attack it from here?
It wouldn't do any good. As long as Liquid has control of the system, physically destroying GW would still leave supreme authority in his hands. Sons of the Patriots.
Yes, Dr. Emmerich is right. That's why we need to destroy GW from the inside.
She looks so cool, the way she's leaning back there. Mei Ling is pretty awesome in this game.
All right, everybody, here's the plan. We know Haven will have to surface in order to fire the railgun. When it does, the Missouri will see it. We'll make a quick approach and deliver a strike team. Our goal is twofold. Prevent that nuke from launching and wipe out GW's programming. The enemy relies entirely on electronic means of threat detection, so they won't be able to see the Missouri until they surface.
Akiba!
We'll launch the strike team from catapults at the exact moment Haven's armored cover opens. They'll then penetrate GW's physical server room and infect it with a worm cluster.
But what if they shut down GW before we get in there?
Liquid is already entrenched within the Patriots network. He needs to stay there, or destroying JD won't serve him any purpose. They can't afford to have GW shut down.
And let's not forget, Liquid will throw everything he's got at stopping the strike team.
Exactly. The corridor leading to GW is defended by directed energy weapons that emit certain types of microwaves.
Did you say microwaves?
That's right. And at that frequency, the waves will start to evaporate any living person within range.
That giant microwave oven. You'd have to have a death wish to go in there. Sounds like the perfect job for me.
Snake, this isn't the time for your stupid jokes.
Outside the corridor, Liquid soldiers will be out in full force. Inside, there'll be unmanned weapons waiting for us.
Where are you getting all this information? You really think there's a way to destroy GW?
Yes, I do. She left us something that'll point us in the right direction.
Naomi helped with the preparations to stop Haven's launch.
Naomi?
All of our internal data on Haven came from her. The reason she got on the Nomad with us in the first place was to get close to me. But she ended up turning to Sonny instead.
What do you mean?
She left her plan in Sonny's hands.
This entire operation is based on the data she left us.
Whose side was she on, anyway?
We'll never know exactly what her true intentions were. But one thing's for sure. She was determined to stop Liquid.
Promise me you'll carry on. Or will.
Come on, guys. Somebody say something positive. Anything.
Attention! Listen up. A wise man once wrote, "The tongues of dying men enforce attention like deep harmony. Where words are spent, they are seldom spent in vain." Any other questions? Yes, Snake?
Anybody got a smoke?
Snake.
Go dribbling.
So this program, you're saying Sonny wrote it?
Actually, only about a third of it is her work. Naomi was working on a program to destroy GW, but she couldn't quite finish it, so she handed it over to Sonny. Sonny went fishing in my library to see if there was any source code she could use to complete it. Eventually, she found some. It was Emma's worm cluster. She took my sister's code and worked it into Naomi's program. I didn't have time to look over every single line of code, but what I did see reminded me of Emma. It was like she left traces of herself behind in the structure. But this worm cluster that Sonny created, it's even better than Emma's. Sonny's worm destroys the AI's intellect by triggering apoptosis in the cells. Once uploaded into GW, it should do some real damage. Snake, you ever think about quitting?
Why? It's not like I've got my health to worry about.
Are you trying to kill yourself? So, you're dead set on going to Haven yourself. Why don't we get somebody else to go? There's no need for you to do it.
I still have things left to do. Besides smoke. Otacon, why don't you jump off the ship with me?
I don't think so.
Really hurts to see Snake like
I've
this.
still got things to do myself.
So depressing.
And I don't even smoke.
I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. He's a character that a lot of us kind of grew up with, as we all played the games as we grew up, or a lot of us did. So to see him kind of just practically dying in this game, it was pretty sad, I think. I don't know about you, but it really tugged on my heartstrings when I played the game for the first time.
Captain, enemy vessel at 300 meters and still rising.
And the engines.
No problems to report.
Prepare to go full speed ahead, and get the strike team ready for immediate launch.
Aye, aye, Captain.
How long until it surfaces?
About 20 minutes.
Right on schedule. When she surfaces and opens up her armor, we'll move in as planned.
Aye, Captain. Captain,
Yes?
this is my first real engagement.
I see. Your point?
At first, getting assigned to this ship was a big letdown for me. But the inaction was kind of a relief, too. Captain, I'm scared.
It's okay. I'm scared too. This is also my first time. But I'm not going to let it get to me, because I'm more scared of what'll happen if I run away. Nobody is going to die on my watch. This ship is going back to Hawaii in one piece. That, I promise.
Right. Thank you.
He'll live, but he's in no shape to fight. Best to let him rest.
Right.
Without the system to protect them, everybody's losing their nerve. They say SOP's after effects are so bad that a lot of soldiers are deserting.
The only people I have left to rely on are Marilyn, him.
Kind of an unknown quantity, isn't he?
I hooked him up with a 9ID M82. Fancy meeting you here.
What are you doing here?
I laundered these guys' ideas, then issued them new naked weapons, including that catapult you're gonna be riding. Business has been slow ever since Liquid got his hands on the system. His extra orders stopped coming in. Now that all the weapons all over the world are locked, the only ones still looking to fight would be you and yours. They tell me it's not economical to replace all that useless equipment on the battlefield with my stuff. So I made an extra special trip out here, just for you.
Driven, do you even have the slightest idea what's going on here?
Of course I do. See, when it comes down to it, the world's like this soda here. Once the bubbles are gone, I ain't got no use for it. It's worth nothing. I'm on the side of whoever needs me the most. You dig? If you need anything, just say the word. I'm setting up shop here for a spell. Enjoy it. Could be your last.
So much foreshadowing going on here.
It is. I'm all out. All right.
Looks like that last smoke will have to wait after all. Later.
I have you.
Hey. Here.
He says that at the end of every cutscene with him, I think, except for the one in Act 3 at the very end. I don't think he says it then. Seems to say it in every other one though.
You're over there. There.
Snake, can you hear me? Liquid's warship, Outer Haven, is a modified version of an Arsenal gear model stolen from the Patriots. Inside, it's crawling with Irving and other unmanned weapons. According to Naomi's data, Haven is crewed by a battalion of enhanced soldiers, each called from the best the PMCs have to offer. If Liquid succeeds in destroying JD and gaining control of the Patriots system, he'll make Haven his flagship, and his PMCs will spread like wildfire across the globe. And then, mankind's armed subjugation will begin.
Captain, Haven sighted.
Prepare to fire, main gun!
Listen closely. This is our last chance to stop Liquid from enslaving the planet. be with you till the very end. You are my pride and joy.
Railgun is exposed.
There it is. A naked nuke.
Let's finish it, Snake. Let this be our last battle. If we're responsible for Liquid's sins, then the onus is ours to bear.
Right.
Enemy moving to intercept!
Maintain full speed!
Failure will spell doom for the human race. You've got to stop them from using that railgun. Then annihilate GW.
The enemy is returning fire!
All hands, prepare for impact! Brace yourselves!
Snake,
Where are you?
sorry. It's my ankle.
Can you walk?
I think so. Ah!
Are you okay?
Hurts a hell of a lot more without SOP.
Makes you feel alive, doesn't it? What about Occupy?
He fell into the ocean. Snake, I'll catch up soon. You go ahead.
Look on.
keep you waiting. Snake, can you hear me? GW is toward the ship's stern. Hurry!
The final act finally begins. The only thing I don't like about this act is that it's really short. I do like it, but it's over very quickly. The cutscenes make it long, don't get me wrong, but without the cutscenes, it's incredibly short. It's essentially 5 or 4 hallways, some of which don't even have any enemies in them. So all this is 4 or 5 hallways and 2 boss fights, and that's literally it. That's the act. I do like it, but like I said, it's kind of short. That's the only disappointing thing. Although I do love the boss fights in this one. I think they're just 2 of the best fights in the series, in my opinion. I'm not sure if I would rank them as the best fights of the series, but they would easily be in the top 10, without a doubt. I do have trouble sneaking through this area without getting spotted as well. So I'm not holding my breath here. I'm expecting to get spotted. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Well, it wasn't him I was waiting for. Did I get it? No. The girl that jumped off from the balcony, she landed somewhere by here, but where did she go? I think she might have gone down now. Down there. Okay, so far so good. This is also the only area in the whole of Act 5 where you actually use stealth. The rest is just action and set pieces and boss fights, like I said. So, after this, there's no more stealth in the whole entire game. Which I do think is a shame, because I do feel as if the stealth, I said this before, but I do feel as if the stealth mechanics in MGS4 are awesome. When you are actually being stealthy and sneaky, the game is amazing. It's a lot of fun. Moving Snake is, he's as responsive as ever in this game. So when you go back to playing something like MGS 1, 2 or 3, he feels Raiden or Snake or Big Boss, they feel very stiff. But in this game, Snake he controls so smoothly in comparison to the other games. So it's just so fun just controlling Snake in this game. And being sneaky, but unfortunately you don't actually get much opportunities to be sneaky in MGS4, I feel, because a lot of it is just set pieces, like the on-rail truck sequence with Draven, or the motorbike sequence with Eva. This is where I normally get spotted. Just keep looking over here. This gecko almost spots me a lot. Yep, he's got me, and he's probably going to do some damage. And unfortunately, oh great, we got it open. You have to tap X a bunch of times, triangle a bunch of times to open that door. So, being as you are placed right next to a gecko, you're kind of on edge there. Thankfully, he didn't do the leg sweep though, so it's all good. And this elevator is not going to move until the alert phase is over. So we just gotta wait. Oh, I think I may have to destroy the gecko actually on second thought. I got the railgun, yeah. That might be one strategy you could use. Just destroy the gecko before you try to go through the door. I guess that would work. But I'm not sure if firing the railgun would trigger an alert phase or not. So that's why I didn't bother doing it immediately. It seems as if the frog soldiers refuse to come in here as well. I guess their AI doesn't let them. Oh, there's another gecko. Yeah, the geckos respawn as well. I'm not sure if they respawn infinitely. Actually, there are 2 geckos in the area from the very beginning, so that just might be the second one. So maybe they don't respawn. Alert phase gonna go down. I can hear another gecko. That was overkill. There we go. So no more stealth for the whole entire game. Now it's just boss fights and empty hallways.
The corridor leading to GW is defended by directed energy weapons that emit certain types of microwaves. Did you say?
I love this boss fight coming up as well. It's one of my favorites.
Sounds
like the perfect job for me.
A lot of people seem to hate this fight as well. Or at least I don't think they hate it. Well, maybe some people hate it, but for the most part I think just people think it's just okay, or they are kind of disappointed by it. And I was really surprised because I loved this fight, so when I went online and started to see other people's opinions of the fight, I was like, wow, really? I thought the fight was awesome, so I was quite shocked to see everyone bad-mouthing the fight. I was thinking there's no way in hell anyone would dislike this fight, but I guess I'm in the minority here. Obviously the fight isn't just yet, we got one more little set piece to do, and then the fight begins.
Meryl.
I'm going to use both lethal and non-lethal weapons during this fight. Because whether or not, basically the number of enemies you kill with lethal and non-lethal means kind of, they basically determine how the fight is played. They slightly alter the fight. Those of you who play the game know what I mean. But the boss fight coming up, it's kind of, it does matter basically, the people you kill non-lethally and lethally. So just to make the boss fight interesting, I'm going to kill enemies lethally and non-lethally. Just to make things a bit more fun during the fight. And it is very subtle, but if you, at certain points during this set piece here, you can see puppet strings attached to Snake. They only appear every now and again, and it's very subtle, but they do pop up every now and again. So it's a nice little hint, a little foreshadowing of what's to come. Is anyone going to jump down? Or maybe it's not the puppet strings you see, but the camera does kind of go blurry every now and again when you turn. So that's supposed to be the hint of what's to come. Although you may be able to see the puppet strings every now and again. You can obviously see the puppet strings during the boss fight, but I could have sworn you see them every now and again during this sequence. Okay, I think I tranked enough people. Let's go back to lethal. Apparently there's a glitch or something you can do. If you're trying to do a big boss run, you want to beat the game as fast as possible. And as you can imagine, this bit can be a bit tricky because you can't kill anyone doing a big boss run. So tranking everyone on the hardest difficulty could be a bit of a challenge. But I believe there's a glitch, which the experts and speedrunners know about, where if you throw stun grenades at the very start of the fight in a specific spot, it cancels this whole entire sequence out, so you don't even have to fight the soldiers. Basically, it immediately ends this little area and it begins the boss fight instead. I've never been able to pull it off. I only tried it once, but I wasn't able to pull it off.
Meryl.
Snake.
I do love the puppetry imagery as well, with all of everyone being controlled, being, you know, hanging on the strings. I think it's a really cool visual.
I know your wavelength. It brings back memories.
It can't be.
I'm not sure how he got on the ship after falling into the ocean. I don't think they ever explain that.
It has been a long time, Snake.
You, Psycho Mantis.
No, that was another me. Can you hear the screams? They cry for battle! Let me hear you scream! Howl! Roar! From the very depths of your soul! What's this? I see.
So I think this boss fight is a lot of fun. Of course, for those of you, if you haven't played MGS4, if you try the shooter, it doesn't seem to work so well. And also, whenever you try to aim at her, hang on, we got a blackout. But every time you try to aim at her, it's obviously she's kind of psychic, so she's moving your aim away. So whenever you try to aim at her, the game basically moves your aiming all like away from her. Try the shooter, nothing happens. Now, this is one of the few times where the codec has some pretty interesting things to say.
Snake, this beast, Screaming Mantis, is a puppeteer. She manipulates others into doing the fighting for her.
Control seems to kick in when you get hit by that creepy ghost thing.
Be careful you don't get jerked around too, okay?
Now, this boss fight is supposed to be half of a puzzle, basically. It's one of those boss fights where you have to solve a puzzle in order to begin the fight. But if you call Otacon too many times, I think if you call him 3 or 4 times, he just gives you the answer to the puzzle, which I think is really lame. I think he should give you the answer to the puzzle automatically if you spend too long in the fight. So, for example, if the player hasn't solved the puzzle within 10 minutes, then he should call the player and tell them. But I think it's a shame that he just gives the answer if you just call him 4 times. So a first time player might just be calling him casually for tips, without realizing it's a puzzle, and then he'll just give them the answer and just ruin it completely. So that's when I think it's a shame. Now this is one of the few times in the game where you should actually call Rose, because, well, Campbell pops in.
Snake, this is Mantis we're talking about.
The fight on Shadow Moses?
That's right. Back then we defeated him by using multiple controller ports to counteract his mind-reading powers.
What sense does that...
using the same tactic again. Plug the controller into controller port 2.
It's not gonna work, Roy.
Huh?
Do you see any controller ports here? Deceiving Mantis is going to take more than simply pushing the PS button to switch controller numbers.
But then, that means...
It's impossible. Sorry.
Well, I'll be damned.
I thought Colonel is supposed to call us after that.
Well, so much for the controller. But that beast has another weak spot. Do you remember what it is?
Weak spot? You mean the bust modeled on Mantis's true face? The one with all the leather bands wrapped around it?
That's the one. Mantis always hated seeing his birth face. Attack that bust and break off the leather seal.
Colonel, I can't do that.
Sure you can. Seeing his true face is sure to break Mantis's concentration.
There's no bust. What? There is no bust here to attack.
You're kidding.
One more time, I think that's all Rose has to say.
The women of the B&B Corps.
Yeah.
One laughed, one raged, and one cried. And now the final beast who won't stop screaming. That wailing may be the product of some unendurable fear that's gnawing away inside of her. I can't even imagine what kind of trauma would cause a person to scream like that.
And this is a cool Easter egg. When I first did this fight for the first time ever, this was the first thing I did. I immediately changed it to 2, and they do have an Easter egg for you if you try this.
Otacon, what's going on? I can't move.
You can't move? What the heck did you... Oh, Snake. Did you set the controller number to something other than 1? Let me guess. You thought back to your battle with Psycho Mantis and figured the same tactic would actually work again, right?
Well,
Nice try, Snake. But this time the controller number has to be 1, or else you can't control your actions.
What the hell? Whose dumb idea was that?
Don't look at me! I'm sorry, but it's simply not going to work this time around.
Fine.
It's just awesome. And Psycho Mantis was one of my favourite boss fights in MGS1. I think that goes without saying. Isn't he everyone's favourite boss fight? Pretty much everyone agrees with that. So I was just so glad that, because this is basically a homage to the Psycho Mantis boss fight, obviously. I think that goes without saying. Obviously Screaming Mantis is based right off of Psycho Mantis. That's pretty obvious. And I do like her design as well. The costume and everything. I think it's a great imagery. I don't really want to mention Slender Man, because Slender Man is just really lame at this point. He's kind of just become this meme creepypasta, so it's just like, Slender Man is kind of lame. But, you know, the way the arms and everything move, I think it kind of reminds me of a Slender Man. Or a cool version of Slender Man, should I say. But yeah, I do like the costume and the design and everything. I think it's just awesome. So, of course, the answer to the puzzle is to use the syringe. And then even when you use the syringe, it's not that simple. You have to figure out how to harm it. And then eventually you figure out you can damage her dolls. Or puppets, whatever you want to call them. So that was the puzzle, and this is where the fight begins. The science behind it is supposed to be she's controlling people using their nanomachines. And of course the needle suppresses nanomachines in your body, which prevents her from controlling you. You can also grab Mel, CQC her, like you did Vamp, and inject her with the needle. So it would prevent Screaming Mantis from controlling Mel for a certain amount of time. But I never really did that. I never because she uses Mel to attack you, and at a certain point she makes Mel try to kill herself. But I never really had a problem with that. I never bothered CQC and Mel. I know you can do it, I just never bothered doing it though. Because if you shoot the Psycho Mantis doll, which controls living people, while the Sorrow doll controls dead people, but if you shoot the dolls, she'll drop anyone who's alive. But if you shoot the Sorrow doll, she'll drop everyone who's dead. So every time you shoot the Psycho Mantis doll, all the living people will fall to the floor, including Mel. So obviously, if Mantis is trying to make Mel kill herself, you can just shoot the Psycho Mantis doll, and she'll drop Mel. You can also trank Mel as well, but it just takes too long. I prefer to just shoot the doll every time Mel is in danger of dying. Like right now. See, all of the living people have just been dropped, including Mel, and it's all good, and I'm almost dead. Whoa. Like, I took off a lot of health really quickly. The only thing I don't like about this fight is that it's one of those things where it's over a bit too quick. When you know what you're doing, you can end the fight pretty quickly. It's a bit too easy, I think. Even on the hardest difficulty, because when I did the big boss run, I did do this fight really quickly. It wasn't hard at all. And the thing is, because like I said, I do love this boss fight, so I want it to last as long as possible. So I think it's a shame it's so easy, because like I said, I enjoy it, so I want it to last long. But it's really easy, so it never does. I think she's trying to grab me again, yeah. If that hits me, yeah. I do love that music as well. The Mantis hymn. Yeah. She'll do that as well, that's cool. Reset the game. One of those Kojima tricks. Anyway, if she does gain control of you again, you can just use the needle and you're back to normal. Whoa. Watch out for the health there. The Mantis doll, it looks like she's about to drop it. Yep. And now I don't have to worry about Mel anymore. If you take too long to pick up the dolls, she will eventually pick them up again. So you do have to be quick. Although she does give you plenty of time to pick her up. Whoa. One thing I think is kind of weird about this fight is that this is supposed to be Screaming Mantis. She doesn't really do a lot of screaming for someone called Screaming Mantis. Like, you do hear some screams every now and again throughout the fight, but it doesn't happen often. For the most part, she's just laughing, so I understand she's supposed to be a villain, so you gotta have the villain do some evil laughs or whatever. But for Screaming Mantis, she doesn't scream a lot. See, she screamed once. I think that's the first time I've heard her scream in the fight. I know I can kill her right now. The aim of the game is to knock the Psycho Mantis doll out of her hands, and you can use that to kill her. But I want to get a Sorrow doll just for the sake of it, just so the fight lasts slightly longer. And the Sorrow doll controls dead bodies. So when you get it, you can do the same. You can control dead bodies using it. And when you replay the game, you are given the Sorrow doll and the Psycho Mantis doll from the beginning of the game. So on repeat playthroughs, you can actually control enemies using the puppets, which is a lot of fun. It's not very practical in terms of a weapon, but it's a little bit of fun you can have when you replay the game. And with that, I think I'll end the fight. So, equip the Psycho Mantis doll, and that's the end of Screaming Mantis. Oh, if I... yeah. A lot of people don't like that fight, but I think it's a lot of fun. It's just that I wish it lasted longer than it did, that's all. And at least with the bosses like Laughing Octopus or Raging Raven or Crying Wolf, they did do what their title would suggest. Octopus did laugh a lot. Raven was pretty pissed. Crying Wolf, she was sobbing a lot. But with Screaming Mantis, for the most part, she just laughs. And you do hear her scream every now and again, but not often. Yeah, aside from being pretty one-dimensional as a character, I still think Screaming Mantis is pretty awesome. I think it's the voice and the costume is what makes it so cool. And per usual, you're going to get the overly dramatic, over-the-top death scene, post-boss scene, whatever you want to call it. This is just as dramatic as all the other ones, if not more.
Get out of my body. Forgive me. Set me free!
So of course if you kill them, the bosses non-lethally while they're still inside their suits, they do drop a doll after you beat them, which you can collect if you want. With Screaming Mantis, there's only one way to beat her, which is using the Mantis doll. So they just give you the doll. Oh whoa, she moved fast, I didn't expect that. But they just give you the Screaming Mantis doll anyway, because there's only one way to beat her. Like, there's no way to kill her non-lethally or lethally, it's just that one way that I used to kill her, so they give you the doll regardless in this one. And you cannot use the Mantis doll on her. That would be fun if you could, but I don't think so. No. Okay. Ooh, Railgun, should we do overkill? I'm probably gonna miss this. Cause she does that sidestepping thing for certain bullets. Oh, actually hit her. I am aware that if you play your iPod music, they do dance and you can take pictures of them while they're dancing. I'm not gonna bother doing that though. There's actually a trophy for doing that. So of course I would know about it. When I played this for the first time, I went crazy doing this bit. It's like I said, Psycho Mantis was one of my favourite bosses. And, well, when this happened, I went apeshit.
Excellent, Snake.
Psycho Mantis.
You don't seem to believe your own eyes. Very well. I will show you the power of the world's greatest mind reader and psychokinesis. I'll start by reading your personality. Rather, your past. That's right. This is no trick. It's true power. What? Where is your data? Where is it saved? There's no memory card. Damn. Your skills have improved. Or rather, your hardware. How about this, then? Witness my psychokinesis. Put your controller on the floor.
I'm not going to put it on the floor, I'm going to put it on the table in front of me. As long as you put it on a flat surface, that's the important thing.
That's good. Now, I will move your controller by the power of my will alone.
It's moving. Good job. If you have a controller, one of the older PlayStation 3 controllers without the vibrating function, then that cutscene is different. Slightly different at the very end there. And there's a hidden L1 moment coming up right here where you can see the sorrow from MGS3.
The spirit of the warrior will always be with you.
I got so hyped when Psycho Mantis appeared. I was going apeshit, and I was thinking, oh my god, we are actually going to fight Psycho Mantis? We're going to fight Psycho Mantis one more time? I was going crazy, and then I was like, oh, it's just a cutscene. Don't get me wrong, still awesome, but I was like, oh, I was getting really excited there. I was like, we get to fight him one more time? Like I said, still awesome, but they kind of teased me a bit there.
This was when she was still a little girl. Hunted by enemy death squads, she was separated from her family.
Well, we will get to fight Psycho Mantis one more time, won't we? The Phantom Pain. I was assuming there is going to be a boss fight with him. Like I said, it's going to be a wasted opportunity if we don't fight Psycho Mantis at some point during the Phantom Pain.
She was petrified with fear. And then, she heard the sound of heavy boots on the floor above her, followed by shrieking screams. The kind that would make every hair on your body stand straight up. She had stumbled across a makeshift torture chamber. Somebody'd locked the door, and she was trapped. It was dark, it was dank, and it was full of a wretched stench. She couldn't sleep with the screams of torture victims all around her. All she could do was sit curled up in one corner of the room, trembling. A week passed. Then 10 days. She managed to keep hydrated by drinking the filthy water pooled up on the floor, but there was no food. Being trapped in that kind of place, half crazy from hunger, did a serious number on her mind. Did you know female mantises eat their mates? The screams went on day and night. She covered her ears, but it didn't help. And then, she was saved by a little black mantis that taught her how to block out the screams, how to plug up her inner ears.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm saying, Snake, that when she couldn't stand the hunger any longer, she started feeding on the corpses. But only the male ones. She didn't realize who was doing it. In her mind, it was a female mantis devouring her mates. It was like one big twisted waking dream. There was no Mantis, of course. It was all a hallucination. Nothing more than some story spun by another person she'd created inside. Her unstable mind was what made her so vulnerable. Later, they ripped out what was left of her psyche with drugs and hypnosis and implanted the persona of Psycho Mantis.
With hypnosis?
It wasn't her will that controlled the B&Bs. It was Psycho Mantis, half assimilated into her soul, pulling the strings. Screaming Mantis was just another puppet. Anyway, she survived several weeks down in that hellhole and finally got back to the surface. But the screams in her head didn't subside. They would always be with her. Only this time, they weren't real. The inner earplugs didn't work anymore. The Black Mantis had disappeared. There was no place left to escape. Which is why she was always screaming, to drown out the ones in her own head. But it's over now. You freed Mantis from that dark nightmare.
The last of them beasts.
You got it, pal. Well, I'm done playing storyteller for a while. Now get going. GW's waiting. And this time, you get to make up the ending.
Snake. Where's Johnny? They're here.
Of course, rather than just shooting them from a distance, the frogs decide to just run right into the line of fire. When they had plenty of opportunity to shoot.
This time, I'll protect you. Go. Destroy DW while there's still time. While I'm still alive.
Meryl.
Snake, the corridor ahead is full of microwaves.
Yeah. No way I'm getting through there uncooked. I'm sorry you got dragged into this.
This time, I've got your back. We'll meet again on the other side. Go! Hurry!
Enough is enough, Snake. You can't take any more of this.
It's not about winning or losing.
So the rest of this act is just hallways and a boss fight. And a lot of cutscenes.
Why don't we get somebody else?
Although as far as walking down hallways go in video games, this is pretty exciting. This is as exciting as it gets in a video game. Just walking down a hallway. Only Metal Gear Solid can make running down a corridor feel epic. And I hate that word, epic. It's one of those words which is kind of overused. I try not to use it.
Will spell doom for the human race.
Go!
I just remember this cutscene. hate this cutscene. I'm just gonna say that right now. I don't know what the fuck Kojima was thinking.
I can't hold out much longer. Damn it! I can't protect anyone. I can't.
Meryl!
Johnny! Johnny, you're all right.
Here.
Huh. You trying to make up for being late?
Meryl. I'll never leave you alone again.
Cover!
Clear!
Ready!
So far, it's okay, but it gets bad.
Who needs nanomachines anyway? Right, Johnny? Tell me something! How come Mantis couldn't control you?
I figure she probably used people's nanomachines to manipulate their behavior. No nanomachines, no control.
But don't you?
No! I don't have any nanomachines in me!
What?
Every time we had mandatory shots, I ducked out.
Don't tell me you knew this was gonna happen.
Nah, I just hate needles.
So that's why you were always out of sync with the team.
I tried to keep track of everybody's data on my wearable, but I could never keep up.
And why you weren't affected in Europe on the Volta.
Yep.
Asshole. Johnny, I'm running low.
Don't worry, I got these from Drebin. Meryl.
Johnny, I never knew.
Alternatively, he could have just threw the magazines over instead of rolling.
Was that because the nanomachines weren't there to suppress them?
Yeah.
But if you're afraid of shots, why'd you join my team?
I wanted to be near you. To protect you.
Johnny?
Meryl. I've always loved you. Ever since Shadow Moses, when I first laid eyes on you. Meryl, marry me.
You've got a hell of a sense of timing.
What do you say?
I'd have to say no.
You'd rather...
This is where...
Okay, but we don't have to make it official.
No.
Well, how about we just move in together then?
Nope.
I do like it when Metal Gear is stupid and cheesy, but I'm not sure if this is the right kind of stupid.
Is there something wrong with me?
I can't get into this cutscene. I do like it when it's goofy. Metal Gear goes goofy, but
Johnny,
this scene doesn't work for me.
marry me.
Huh?
I'll say it again. Marry me.
Sure. It'd be my pleasure.
Hey. And don't even think about cheating on me.
I wouldn't dare.
And I want a real wedding. With flowers and a cake. It's been my dream since I was a little girl. Take me home, Johnny.
I'm so happy that cutscene is over. Whoa, easily one of the low points of Metal Gear Solid 4. Okay, so just 3 more corridors, I believe, now. Oh wait, well, I'm forgetting one other corridor. No more human enemies though, aside from the final boss. Just these robots. I'm too lazy to get a machine gun from my inventory, so I'm just gonna keep going. One more hallway, another batch of cutscenes. Then another hallway, then another batch of cutscenes. And then the final boss. Oh my god, these Gecko man. Snake is actually moving on his own, by the way, just then. He always does that for the final hallways. L1. I don't think there's any point in tapping X here. No, no chance.
They're not working.
Come on! Get up! On your feet, Snake!
Snake, leave this to me. I'll go to the server room.
The corridor's full of microwaves. One of us is enough.
My body is a machine. I can take it.
Your body may be a machine, but your heart is human. You've got a life to go back to.
She means nothing to me now.
Raiden, look at me. You still have your youth. Don't waste it. You can start over. From here on, this is my fight. We
world apart. Made your life a living hell. It's my duty to put an end to all of this.
All right. I'll make sure they don't get through.
Stay with me, Snake. Hold on until we insert the virus.
Lock it from the inside.
Done. Thank you, Snake.
Raiden still has one arm, doesn't he? Why doesn't he just use his arm? I guess they think he looks cooler if he holds it in his mouth or his foot. He does have one arm, right? Yeah. Of course, he cut the other one off, but... Oh wait, he doesn't. I don't think I could see any arms on him then. Huh. I never noticed that. I always assumed he still had one arm. Okay, that makes sense. Never mind. I guess the other arm got ripped off when he got crushed under the boat. That makes sense. So this is one of the most memorable moments in the whole entire series. It's not even a boss fight. All you're doing is holding down forward the mash and triangle, but it's pretty captivating.
The longer you stay in there, the greater damage you'll take. Get through there as quickly as possible.
So far it's pretty easy, just hold forwards. That's all you gotta do. Gets kind of tricky though. Okay, so this is where you have to start tapping. Oh, not quite yet. It's coming up though. Very soon. Yeah, he definitely has no arms there. Okay. So this is where we have to mash triangle. And the first time I played the game, I was using all of my strength to mash the fuck out of the triangle button. Because I assumed that door right there is the last part of the hallway. I assumed as soon as I went through that door, that would be it. That's the end of the sequence. I was not prepared. And you don't have to tap this moment. You don't have to tap the triangle button very fast to move on. You tap it very lightly, so it's not too difficult. But I wasn't aware of that at the time. At the time I was thinking, oh shit, and I started tapping the hell out of the triangle button as fast as I possibly could. And I got really tired. I was giving it my all because I thought as soon as I went through this door, that's it. But when the door opened, I realised the hallway goes on for a tiny bit more. And in a moment, we're about to receive another electric shock. Yeah, and now you have to tap the triangle button even faster if you want to move. And there's a third and final electric shock coming up. And after that, you have to tap the triangle button even faster. It's actually very hard to die on this bit. The first time you're playing it, you're panicking, you're thinking, oh shit, I bet the time limit is really strict here. But they actually give you a very generous amount of time here. So you're only going to die if you try to die, basically. Basically, if you just don't do nothing, if you just let Snake lie there and do nothing, then you will eventually get a game over screen. But they do give you a generous amount of time, so as long as you are actually trying, no matter how slow you are tapping this button, as long as you are genuinely trying, you will get to the end. So you're only going to die if you let Snake die on purpose. And Sunny, the world is going to shit, but Sunny, it looks like she's made eggs. A decent one, thanks to Naomi, I guess, who and her cooking skills. This is where you have to tap the triangle button pretty quick. Although thankfully it's at the end of the hallway at this point. Most people overestimate how much you have to hit the triangle button when they first play the game, so they always exhaust themselves at the very beginning, so the rest of it becomes pretty painful. That is actually really tiring the first time you play it, because like I said, you overestimate how much you have to hit the triangle button. But since I beat the game a million times, I'm aware of the fact you don't have to press it that much. I forgot how messed up he is at this point.
So this is GW. It's like a graveyard in here.
Protocol. Can you do it?
Leave it to me.
I kind of wish they shoved the boss into this room. It looks like a pretty cool room to just explore in the gameplay. When the graves have flowers around them, of course. And I am aware they aren't actually gravestones. Of course, they're kind of, yeah, things. They're part of the AI, whatever they are. A lot of people question what was the point of Solid Snake even going through that microwave hallway just to get here if the Mark II or Mark III was what was uploading the virus. But it was, I believe the reasoning was something like they didn't know what would be inside the server room. They assumed inside the server room there would be some sort of defense system, so Solid Snake would have to take care of it to allow the Mark III to upload the virus. And in this case, the Dwarf Gecko is the defense system. So if Solid Snake wasn't there, then the Dwarf Gecko would have destroyed the Mark III and they wouldn't have been able to upload the virus. So that was the reasoning behind it. I was actually quite confused by that myself, to be honest. Until somebody mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. I always assumed Raiden was fighting with the sword in his mouth just because they thought it looked cool. I never realised he doesn't have any arms at this point. And what, I've beaten the game and watched these cutscenes like 100 times.
It's over.
They did it! Johnny!
I love that Metal Gear Ray just standing on the edge of the ship there.
Wait a minute. The worm is still spreading. And it's not
stopping at GW. Is it removing the other clones? No. Wait. I don't believe this. Naomi.
What is it?
JD is
being erased.
I do find it kind of underwhelming how they stopped the Patriot AI. They just press a button and that's it. Feels kind of underwhelming to me. Don't get me wrong, the microwave hallway was cool, but like this is what it kind of boiled down to: the Mark III going up to that computer
Snake.
and just putting in a virus.
How?
I kind of wish it was a bit more than that.
It's you, isn't it? I hope you're listening. The virus you uploaded is using GW as a conduit to annihilate the entire AI network. It's set to destroy all 4 AIs, along with JD, the core that tied them all together. I've set this video to play back once they're all gone. Sons of the Patriots was only the beginning. The Patriots were planning to use nanomachines to implement the system over the entire population. I had an obligation to stop it. With a little help from Sunny. She helped me. She believed her talents could help you all put GW to rest. What she created was an anti-AI Fox dye. But this virus's name is Fox Alive. It's the conceptual opposite of the nanomachines that I created all those years ago. We wish to free the captured foxes to let them run free in the wild. By the time you hear this, I'm afraid I'll be gone. It's a strange feeling, leaving a message to be delivered after you've died. Hal, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Sorry I deceived you. It hurt me more than anything else, lying to you like that. I wanted to apologize to you before, but I never got the chance.
Me.
And yet, in the end, you helped me feel the joy of living. Thank you, Hal. Thank you. Snake, hear me. Our country is an innocent child once more. A new dawn is rising. Now, she can build a new destiny for herself. Snake, the time has come. You've earned your rest. The rose petal is about to fall.
Snake? Snake! Snake!
Snake!
Of course, they're not going to end the game with just Snake crawling through a microwave hallway. Gotta end it on a crazy boss fight. One crazy final boss. This is one of the best bosses in the series.
Rise and shine, Snake. Look, the war is over. Why? You could have stopped us. Stopped you? Why would I want to do that? This is just as I'd hoped things would end. Back before Father's time, before Zero gave birth to the Patriots, the US, China, and the Soviet Union formed a secret pact.
Philosophers?
The organization they created was called the Philosophers. Through 2 world wars, it spread its roots and extended its reach. After that, the philosophers splintered, and factions began to
Yeah, the Philosopher's Legacy.
They called it the Philosopher's Legacy.
I completely forgot this. What was he talking about here? What's this building up to?
Foundation for Zero's Patriots.
Yeah?
Zero sought to use his riches to achieve world domination. Our father, Big Boss, sought to free himself from that chokehold. His dream was to create an army of free citizens, one that answered to no government. Outer heaven. But he failed because of you. 9 years ago, I tried to free us from the control of our genes. 4 years later, our dear brother Solidus sought to free us from the control of the Patriots' means. All of it, was nothing more than a process of trial and error, the end result of which is Outer Haven. To be free from Sons of the Patriots, the ultimate form of external control imposed on the Patriot soldiers.